It has been announced that Multitude Productions are developing a reboot of Blake 7. The original series was created by Terry Nation and aired between 1978 and 1981, telling of a group of criminals and rebels on the run from the evil Federation. Like Doctor Who from the same era, the visual effects were not great, and they couldn't compete with the likes of Star Wars, but the ambitious scripts and morally ambiguous characters ensured that the series built up a devoted fandom which continues to this day. In recent years, Big Finish have produced audio dramas starring the remaining original cast, but sadly few of them are still alive. So it's unlikely the new version will be a continuation of the original storyline. Instead, it's more likely to be a complete reboot with new actors playing all the old characters. But who could play them now? Well, first there's Rog Blake, the leader of the gang, originally played by Gareth Thomas. He's the idealistic, square-jawed hero type, so you need someone who can carry an action series. I would go with Richard Madden, star of Game of Thrones, Bodyguard, Citadel, among other things. He's maybe not the most charismatic of actors, more of a generic action series lead. But if he doesn't work out, they can always kill him off and keep the show going anyway. So now we come to Avon, one of the most memorable characters from the original, played by Paul Darrow. He's a cynical, immoral computer expert who starts off as an anti-hero, but he takes over as leader of the group in these final two series when Blake apparently dies. So you need someone who's good at playing evil, but can also turn on the charm. So my pick would be Bern Gorman. He played a similar morally ambiguous character in Torchwood. He always seemed out for himself and liable to betray the group at any opportunity, which is what you need for Avon. He's maybe not as charismatic as Paul Darrow, but then who is? Vila, originally played by Michael Keating, was a thief and a coward, often used as comic relief. There's any number of comedians and character actors who could play the part. I would go with Tim Key. He's currently starring in The Paper, so he has some acting experience, and he can certainly play that kind of Weasley, squirrely character that Vila needs to be. Then there's Gan, originally played by David Jackson. He was like the Little John of the group, basically there to be the muscle until they killed him off. He's a big guy with a kind heart, kind of like Andre the Giant in The Princess Bride. Sadly, he's no longer with us, so I would go with Hamid Animeshorn, who played Loyal in The Wheel of Time. That was another gentle giant kind of character, and even with the prosthetics on, his personality shone through, so no doubt he could do a good job as Gan. Jenna is a smuggler and pilot, originally played by Sally Nivette. She's kind of Blake's love interest, although I don't think it ever got very far. They didn't really do romantic subplots back then. So for her, I was thinking of Millie Gibson. She's blonde, and she's been in Doctor Who, so she has experience with special effects. She might be a bit young, but at least she'd draw in the Doctor Who fans. Then there's Callie, originally played by Jan Chappell. She's a telepath, kind of like the Diana Troy of the group. I'd go with someone like Zoe Ashton. She's done action and sci-fi, she was in the Marvels. And she's a bit older than Millie Gibson, so there'd be that contrast between the two. There's also the ship's know-it-all computer, Orac. He could be voiced by someone really famous, as they could record all their lines in the day. So maybe Soreen McKellen, if he's still up to it, or Stephen Fry, if he's not. So that takes care of the crew as they are in the first two series. Later on in the show, new characters join, like Tarrant and Danu and Sue Lane. This version might bring them in earlier, or they might save them until later. There's also two regular bad guys. Servalan, originally played by Jacqueline Pearce. She was the face of the Federation, an evil ice queen with flamboyant outfits. So you need someone who's classy and sexy, but also experienced enough to be a believable commander. I'd go with Hayley Atwell. Recently she's been stuck playing Captain America's girlfriend, but she's proved that she can take the lead when she gets the chance, and I'm sure she'd relish the opportunity to play a villain. Then there's Servalan's sidekick Travis, originally played by Stephen Grief and then Brian Cruncher. He's basically just a thug with an eye patch. I'd cast someone like Daniel Mays. He looks tough and he's played a lot of villains, but I think he could bring some depth to the part, and he'd be a good nemesis for Richard Madden's Blake. So those are my picks. Realistically, they won't all be famous. There'll probably just be a couple of familiar names and then the rest newcomers. This is just to give you some idea of the kind of people who might get cast. Anyway, that's it for now. If this project does get made, I will almost certainly be covering it on this channel, as I do with all the big SF shows. So please subscribe if this is your kind of thing, and I'll see you next time.